9.2, 30, 60, 90 triangles. So, unlike the 45, 45, 90 triangles where you had two sides that were the same, on the 30, 60, 90, you have, of course, your hypotenuse, which is your longest leg, and then you have, so I'll draw it, you have a triangle, and it's not drawn, it's got anything, but when you have a 30 and a 60, the hypotenuse is across from the 90, and that's the longest leg. I'm sorry, it's the longest side. Across from the 30 is your short leg, because remember, on a triangle you have a hypotenuse and two legs. And then, so one leg is shorter than the other, and then across the 60 is your longer leg. Okay? So in order, if we need to find the hypotenuse, we need to take whatever the shorter leg is and just simply multiply it by 2. For the longer leg, which is across from the 60, the way we find is we take the shorter leg and we multiply it times the square root of 3. Okay, that's not a negative, it's just the square root of 3. All right, so these are our formulas. So example 1, we need to find x and y. So first thing I want to do is label. What are all my sides? Okay. So across from the 30, we said is our short leg. So I'm going to put SL for short leg. Across from the 90 is always our hypotenuse. And if it's a 30 and a 90, we know that this is going to be 60 degrees. And across from it is my longer leg. Okay. So I have a short leg, and then I have, and I'm missing the hypotenuse and the longer leg. So let's find y first. Y is the hypotenuse. And remember the formula for hypotenuse was hypotenuse is equal to the short leg times 2. So let's plug in for it. Our hypotenuse is y, and our short leg is 9. So our hypotenuse is y, our short leg is 9, and it's simply times 2. So y is just simply 18. All right. Next, let's find x. If it helps, you can come up here and say y equals 18. Just plug it in. So x is my long leg. So what I need to do there is plug it in, or use the formula, look for long leg. So long leg is equal to short leg times the square root of 3. Okay. Plug in for it. The long leg is x. My short leg is 9 times square root 3. Well, if we want to leave it in simplified radical form, we're not going to combine a whole number with the radical. So there's nothing else we could do there. So our x is just simply 9 square root of 3. And that's my answer for that one. All right. Example 2. Go ahead and label it. So across from the 60 is my long leg. Across from the 90 is my hypotenuse. And if that's the 60 and the 90, this has got to be a 30. And across from it is my short leg. Okay. So I need to find x and y. Okay. So one thing I need to do is we could say let's find x first. Okay. Well, x is a long leg, so I need to use a formula that has long leg in it. And we know there's one that's long leg is equal to short leg times the square root of 3. All right. Now, here's the problem with this. As you see, the long leg is an x, the short leg is a y. That puts an x and a y in the same formula or same equation. You can't solve for both of those at the same time. So really what we need to do is find our short leg first, and since we have the hypotenuse, we're going to use the hypotenuse formula. So we're actually going to find y first. Okay. So first, and then second, second we'll find x. Okay. So find y. Now y is short leg, and short leg is in both formulas. H equals short leg times 2, and long leg equals short leg times square root 3. We know we don't have the long leg here, so let's use the formula that we do know something, and it's the one with the hypotenuse, 24. So we use the hypotenuse formula, which is short leg times 2. Okay. So the hypotenuse is 24. The short leg is y times 2. Now we just simply solve for y. It's y times 2, so I got to get that 2 to the other side, so I'm going to divide it. That way those go away and divide it. 24 divided by 2 is 12, and y is equal to 12. And I'll plug that in. Y is equal to 12. Now I can go up and solve for the rest of it. So now I have long leg is x. My short leg, which I found down here, is 12. Okay, we found it already. So now we can do 12 times square root 3. 12 times square root 3, can't combine it. So it's going to be 12 square root 3. And that's it on that one. All right, now this one. Of course, label it first. Across from the 60 is my long leg. Across from the 90 is my hypotenuse. And this is going to be a 30, so it's going to be across from it is my short leg. All right. So let's try to find x. So x is the short leg. Remember, in both formulas, they have a short leg, but we need to see what do we know so we know which formula to use. So when we look at this, the hypotenuse is y. We don't know the hypotenuse, so we obviously we can't use the formula that has hypotenuse in it, because then we're going to have an x and a y. So we have to use the formula that has long leg in it, 3 square root 3. So I'm going to say long leg is equal to short leg times square root 3. And then what I need to do is plug in. So my long leg is 3 square root 3. My short leg is x, and then it's times square root 3. Now I need to solve for x. So that's x times square root 3. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So I'm divide that square root 3. That way those cancel. And divide these square root 3's. Okay. So you have 3 square root 3 over square root 3 is equal to x. Now I need to simplify this. Now the nice thing is these simplify really nice because I have a square root 3 on top of a square root 3. Remember, anytime you have two numbers that are dividing like that you can they're going to just divide to 1, so we can make those go away. We can cross those out. So x is actually equal to just 3. And that obviously 3 can't be simplified anymore. I'll just come in and put 3. And now we have the ability to find y. And y is the hypotenuse. So I'm going to say hypotenuse is equal to short leg times 2. Hypotenuse is y. The short leg we just found was 3 times 2. So at the end of the day, y is equal to 6. And I'll clean that up a little bit. It's a 6. Okay, and that's it for that one. So the last example, we have across from 30 is my short leg. This is 60. Across from it is going to be my long leg. And across from the 90 is my hypotenuse. Alright, so we can try to find x first. X is a long leg, so it's going to be long leg equals short leg times square root 3. Well, we automatically see a problem. We need to plug in long leg and short leg, and the long leg's x, the short leg's y. So we're going to have to do this one second. Okay. And we'll come down and find, I'll come over here and find y. And we'll have to do this one first. Okay, so y is a short leg, but but the only one we know right now is hypotenuse. So I need to use the formula that has a hypotenuse in it and the short leg. So that's the hypotenuse is equal to short leg times 2. All right, so let's plug in for it. Hypotenuse is 12 square root 3. Short leg is y, and then it's times 2. Well, we know it's y times, when you solve for y and get y by itself, and it's y times 2, so divide that 2, opposite, get it to the other side. And you have 12 square root 3 over 2 equals to y. Now I have to ask myself, can anything simplify here? There's no other radicals except square root 3, so we can't do anything there. There's no radicals on the bottom. Remember, you can never leave a radical on the bottom. Okay? So there's nothing there. But there's a 12 and a 2, and those are being divided. So I know that's 12 divided by 2. So it's just going to be 6. And then square root 3. Whoops. 6 square root 3 is equal to y. So my y is equal to 6 square root 3. All right. Now that I've found my short leg, I can plug in and find for my long leg. So long leg is x. Short leg is 6 square root 3 times the square root 3. Okay. So x equals, that 6, the whole number 6 has nothing to multiply with, so we just bring it down. Now remember, we can multiply square root 3 times square root 3. And if you remember, when two radicals that are exactly the same multiply, that number inside just comes out of the box, out of the radical. So it's 3. So it's just going to be 6 times 3. And if you were to, remember, if we were to do this, square root 3 times square root 3, if I was to do this to the side, that'd be square root 9, because 3 times 3 is 9. And then the square root of 9 is just 3. Okay, so that's, if you don't remember that, you can always do it the long way and still find the answer. All right, and then 6 times 3 is simply 18. We found both of them. And that's it for these.